Children, so next about India's neighbors. So India shares its border with 7 countries. Okay, so we have 7 neighboring countries we say. Which are these neighboring countries? Yes, Afghanistan, Pakistan, then China, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, Bangladesh. These are the 7 neighboring countries of India. Okay, you can see the neighboring countries here. Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar. So these are the 7 neighboring countries of India. And Sri Lanka and Maldives. Here you can see Sri Lanka and Maldives here. They also shares the borders with India, with water borders we say. Okay, share Sri Lanka and Maldives are 2 countries with water borders we say. These are the 7 neighboring countries of India. Which are the 7 neighboring countries of India? Afghanistan, Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar and Bangladesh. 7 neighboring countries you can see on the India map here itself. And Sri Lanka and Maldives. They also shares border with India, but it's water borders. Okay, Sri Lanka and Maldives are 2 countries with water borders we say. Sri Lanka is separated from India by Park Strait. Here you can see Sri Lanka. It is separated from India. It is not anywhere in India. It is separated from India, isn't it? Yes, by Park Strait. Here you can see the Park Strait. So Sri Lanka is separated from India by this Park Strait we say. Okay, Park Strait. It is separated from India. It is not inside the India. It is separated from India by this Park Strait. So it's very important thing how Sri Lanka is separated from India by dash. So you can answer as Park Strait. Okay. Now we can learn about the physical features of India. Physical features means like seas, oceans, rivers, Himalayas, where all these things are found in India. About India's physical features. Like Himalayas, we already learned India is surrounded by sea on all the 3 sides. Here Bay of Bengal on the east, then Arabian Sea on the west, Indian Ocean on the south. So apart from this we have Himalayas, we have seas, rivers, many seas, rivers, lakes and all. So let us see where all these are there in India. It is not a physical features or physical divisions of India. Yes, the first one is the Himalayan mountains. First we learned the lofty Himalayas, the tall Himalayas are on the north part of India. Here it lies, Himalayas lies here. So the Himalayan mountains, they are divided into 3 main parallel ranges. The northmost is the Great Himalaya. Great Himalaya is the northmost part of India. Here we can see the Great Himalaya. Okay, Great Himalaya. The world highest peak, Mount Everest, we can see here in this range, the highest peak of India. Mount Everest is there here in the Himadri we say. Then Middle Himalaya, we have Middle Himalaya or Himachal. It lies to the south of Himadri. Then Sivalik range is there, it is the southernmost range. So these are the 3 main parallel ranges, or we say Himalayan mountains. The greater Himalayas, they all lies here in the northern part of India. Okay. Next about northern Indian plains or northern plains we say. Plains means what? Flat level where we all are living. We people are living in the plain land or flat area. So it's a mostly flat surface where we live, or we can say these plains have fertile soil. Fertile soil is so good. So northern plains, they lie to the south of the Himalayas. They are generally level and flat. Yes, northern plains are level and flat. Here if we can see Himalaya means northern place lies to the south of the, just below that we can see northern plains. The level, it is so level and plain we say, flat we say. Next is deserts. Great Indian deserts. They lie in the western part of India. Here, deserts we can see here. Desert we can see in the western part. Or somewhat here we can see deserts. It is dry and hot and sandy stretch of land. You know about desert. Huh? Yes, full of sand, isn't it? Dry area it is. And sandy stretch of land means a long land but full of sand. It has very less fertile vegetation, means we cannot grow any plants, trees there because no rainfall, so no water over there. So it has very little vegetation, means we cannot find any plants or trees, or we cannot cultivate anything on the desert. It's a dry area, desert. Next is Peninsular Plateau, or we say Deccan Plateau. It lies to the south of the northern plains. So Deccan Plateau somewhere comes here. Here, here. Himalayas will be here. Then we can see northern plains. Then here, around here, we can see the Deccan Plateaus. Okay, Deccan Plateau. It lies to the south of the northern plains. It is triangular in shape. Somewhat triangular shape it will be. So it will come here, moreover here. Deccan Plateau. Okay. Yes, and this plateau is located between two mountain ranges, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Okay. So Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats you can see here. Here it is Eastern Ghats, and here it is Western Ghats. Okay. So middle of this you can see what? Deccan Plateau. Somewhere here, so it will be like the shape of a triangle. When we see on the map, only with Deccan Plateau and Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats we can see a triangular shape type. Okay. This is a region with numerous hill ranges and valleys. Here we can see full of hills and valleys in Deccan Plateau. Plateau means what? It's a tableland we say. Table, you know, table with 4 legs. So plains are flat land. Plateaus are tableland, little bit raised above the flat land, like table. From the plain land, little bit above. It is plateau we say, just like a tableland it is. So Deccan Plateau, it is located here, were south of the northern plains, and almost it is triangular in shape. If we see the map of India with Deccan Plateau, Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, then you can understand. Okay. Then next is Vindhyas and the Satpuras. The Vindhyas and the Satpuras are the important ranges. The rivers Narmada and Tapi flows through these ranges. These are west flowing rivers and drain into the Arabian Sea. See here, the small rivers Narmada and Tapi rivers, it flows into here, the big. So Vindhyas and the Satpuras. The Vindhyas and the Satpuras are the important ranges. The rivers Narmada and Tapi flow through these ranges. Okay, we will learn about these rivers later. We are coming to Himalayan rivers, that there I will explain about this. And these are west flowing rivers. These rivers flows towards west. This is the west part of India, and these rivers, small rivers, it flows into where at last they flows into Arabian Sea, which is on the west part of India. In the west, Western Ghats, here in the west, here this is the area where we can see the Western Ghats. Okay, Western Ghats of Sahyadris border. The plateau and the Eastern Ghats provide the eastern boundary. Yes, here Eastern Ghats are there, here Western Ghats are there. They provide the boundary actually. Okay. So about these rivers and all how they flow, that all things we will learn later. Okay. Actually, you just have a knowledge like this rivers flows into Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea in the west part. So this Narmada and Tapi river, which is there in the Vindhya and Satpura range, they are west flowing rivers, means they flow towards west and they flow into Arabian Sea, because Arabian Sea is there on the west. Okay. Next is coastal plains. Coastal plains. So first already we read like India is surrounded by seas or oceans on all the three sides. Three sides we can see Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean. So because of this, what happens? India has a long coastline, we say, on the east along the Bay of Bengal and west along the Arabian Sea, and because of that India has a long coastal line, and they meet at Indian Ocean. They meet it in South Indian Ocean, where we have a border Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. So they lie to the west of the Western Ghats and east of the Eastern Ghats. Western coastal plains are very narrow. The eastern coastal plains are much broader. So here you can see Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats is here and Western Ghats are here. Okay. So Eastern coastal plains here. The plains here near the Eastern Ghats, they are broader, and the Western coastal plains are not that broader, they are narrow. Because India is surrounded by seas on all sides, India has long coastal line, we say. There are many people living beside this coastal area. Okay. Next is island. So what is an island, you know? Yes, it is an area of land surrounded by water on all sides. All sides water, and middle we can see the land. A small area of land surrounded by water on all sides. It is island actually. Island is an area of land surrounded by water on all sides. Two groups of island also form part of India. So there are two groups of islands. Lakshadweep Islands. Here, this is Lakshadweep Sea. So this is the Lakshadweep Island. Okay, are located in the Arabian Sea. See, here is the Arabian Sea. So Lakshadweep Islands are located where? In the Arabian Sea. Then these are coral islands, means island with coconut palms and sand beaches. That is meant by coral islands, located off coast of Kerala. Kerala, we can see this. Then the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands lie to the southeast of Indian mainland, means in the Bay of Bengal. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. See, this is the Andaman and Nicobar Island. This island we can see were near the coast of Bay of Bengal. So two main islands are the Lakshadweep Islands and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Lakshadweep Islands were we can see in Arabian Sea. Andaman and Nicobar Islands we can see in near Bay of Bengal. So these are the physical features of India, or physical divisions of India. Physical divisions means Himalayas, rivers, seas, oceans, plateaus, desert. These are the physical divisions of India. So we find Himalaya. Himalaya is in the northern part of India, and there are three main ranges: Great Himalaya, Middle Himalaya and Shivalik range. These are the three main parallel ranges of Himalayas. They lies to the northern part of India, we say. Next, northern Indian plains, we say. We learned northern plains. They are mostly flat and level land. Northern plains. They lies to the south of the Himalayas. Here we can see the northern plains, we say. South of Himalayas lies northern plains. Then we saw about desert. Desert is over here. They lies to the west part of India, and it is hot land, or we say sandy stretch of land where there is no rainfall, so very little vegetation over on the desert, we say. Then we learned about Deccan Plateau or Peninsular Plateau. It lies somewhere to the south of the northern plains. Here, somewhat here it lies. Okay, and this plateau is located between two mountain ranges, Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Then we learned about Vindhyas and Satpuras. They are also the important ranges. There two rivers are the small rivers, Narmada and Tapi river, which flows into the west. They are west flowing rivers, flows to west part, into Arabian Sea. Then we learned about the coastal plains. Coastal plains, because India is surrounded by seas, India has a long coastal line. We can see Lakshadweep Sea here in Arabian Sea, and also we can see Andaman and Nicobar, mainly two islands in Bay of Bengal. There are two islands we can see. Coastal plains are actually, which are the coastal plains? Yes, Bay of Bengal on the east, Arabian Sea on the west, and Indian Ocean on the south. These are the three seas surrounded by India. Because of these seas, India has a long coastal line, we say. And islands, the main two islands are Lakshadweep Sea in the Arabian Sea and Andaman Nicobar Island in mainland Bay of Bengal. These are the main two islands, two groups of islands which forms the part of India. So these are the physical divisions of India. Okay, children? Yes, children, now we learn about the rivers that flowing through India or Himalayan rivers. Okay. All major rivers of India originate from one of the three main watersheds. Which are these watersheds? The Himalaya and the Karakoram ranges. Himalaya or Karakoram, both are same, Himalayan ranges. Second is Vindhya and Satpura range in central India. Sahyadri or Western Ghats in western India. So all these rivers originate from these three watersheds: Himalaya, Vindhya and Satpura range, or Sahyadri and Sahyadri. Okay, the Himalayan river networks, they are snow-fed. Snow-fed means what? We know on the top of the Himalayas are filled with full of snow. The snow melts and the water flows and it will join into the rivers. So Himalayan river network are snow-fed and have a continuous flow throughout the year. Throughout the year we can see this snow melting and the river water flowing and it joins into the bigger or larger sea. The other two networks means are dependent on the monsoons. Yes, they depend on monsoons. Himalayan rivers means throughout the year we get those water. This water flows and join the rivers. But this Vindhya and Satpura range in central India and Sahyadri or Western Ghats in western India, here throughout the year we don't get. Why? Because it depends on monsoons. When there is heavy rain, when there is more rain, we get this water flows and join to the rivers and shrink into rivulets. Rivulets means small stream of water, we say, during dry season. When there is no rain, during dry season, what happens? These two things, I mean two rivers, main things, Vindhya and Satpura and Sahyadri, they shrink into rivulets, small stream, because no rain or no monsoon season. So they shrink into rivulets during dry season. But in Himalaya, continuous flow of water or throughout the year, we can see the water is flowing and joining into the rivers. But not Vindhya, Satpura and Sahyadri. They depends upon the seasons or monsoon season, we say. The dry season, we can see only a small stream of water over there. Now Himalayan rivers or the northern rivers, we say, because Himalaya lies in the northern part of India. So Himalaya is here. So these Himalayan rivers are called northern rivers that flow westward into Pakistan. Pakistan is here, west part. This is the west part of India. So these rivers flow to the westward into Pakistan. They are Indus, Beas, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj and Jhelum. These are the rivers that flows from from Himalaya to westward, means to Pakistan. Then the river Ganga originates at the Gangotri glacier in Uttaranchal. So river Ganga, it originates in Gangotri glacier. It flows in a southeast direction. So southeast means this is the south part and this is the east part. So this river Ganga, it flows through this direction. This direction from Himalayas, it flows through this direction, southeast. This is the south part, this is the east part. So the river Ganga flows through southeast direction and draining into Bangladesh. Where is Bangladesh? Here. So this river Ganga flows to this direction and it at last it joins here in the Bangladesh. Then the Yamuna and Gomti rivers also arise in western Himalayas and join in Ganga river in the plains. So other rivers like Yamuna and Gomti, these rivers also rise in western part of the Himalayas. In Himalayas, western Himalayas, these rivers Yamuna and Gomti, they arise and they join to Ganga. Then the Brahmaputra, the another tributary of Ganga. Tributary means a river flowing into the larger river. That is tributaries. Small tributaries have big rivers. They have tributaries. We say small river that flowing into the larger river. So Brahmaputra, another tributary of Ganga. It originates in Tibet, it originates in Tibet and enters India in the fast eastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. Here, this is the Tibet. Okay, so here the Brahmaputra originates here in this part and it flows to here where Arunachal Pradesh. Then it proceeds westward, unifying with Ganga in Bangladesh. After reaching here, again it comes to Bangladesh, where it unify with whom? With the river Ganga here in the Bangladesh. So from Tibet, Brahmaputra originates and it flows to Arunachal Pradesh, then it join to Ganga here. Okay, yes. Now the Chambal, another tributary of Ganga. Brahmaputra is also a tributary river of Ganga and Chambal also another one. It originates from the Vindhya Satpura watershed. The river flows eastward, this side, eastward. Then westward flowing rivers from this watershed are Narmada. Yes, that's what I said. I will explain about Narmada and Tapi river here. When we were learning about physical divisions, we learned about Vindhyas and Satpura, and there we learned rivers like Narmada and Tapi flows through these ranges. So here comes it. Westward flowing rivers from this watershed are Narmada and Tapti. Tapi is also called Tapti. Rivers which drain into Arabian Sea in Gujarat. So they are westward flowing rivers. So it will join here in Gujarat. This is the west part of India, right? So these rivers are west flowing rivers and they drain into Arabian Sea here. The river network that flows from east to west. The rivers which flows from east to west, total how much it is, the together 10% of total outflow we say. Okay, yes, so rivers means the rivers of India originate from main three sources or main three watershed we say. One is Himalaya, second is Vindhya Satpura range, then third is Western Ghats. From these three watersheds the rivers of India originate. And Himalayan rivers are snow-fed rivers we say. Snow melts and flows as rivers. Water flows into the rivers and throughout the year we can see that continuous flow, but the Vindhya and Satpura and Sahyadri or Western Ghats, it depends on seasons, means monsoon season. In dry season they shrink into small stream of rivers or rivulets we say. So Himalayan rivers or northern rivers, because Himalaya lies in the northern part, so it is called northern rivers. There are some rivers that flows into Pakistan, and river Ganga is here originating in Gangotri. It flows to Bangladesh here. Then Yamuna and Gomti are also the rivers originate in western Himalayas. It joins to Ganga. Brahmaputra is another tributary of Ganga. It flows where it originates in Tibet, flows to Arunachal Pradesh and it joins to Bangladesh where Ganga river is there. Another tributary is Chambal. It originates in Vindhya Satpura range and the river flows westward here, this part. Okay. Then westward flowing rivers are two more rivers are the Narmada and Tapti. They are west flowing rivers and it join here in the Arabian Sea. And the river network that flows from east to west, the rivers which are flowing from east to west and here joins or drain into Arabian Sea, total the flow or total outflow it is 10%. Now Western Ghats. Western Ghats are the source of all Deccan rivers. About Deccan Plateau we learned. When we learned about physical division, we learned about Deccan Plateau. It lies to the south of the northern plains and it is triangular in shape we learned. Deccan Plateau, it is in triangular shape and it is here to the south of the northern plains, somewhat here. Okay. And Major rivers in this Deccan Plateau include Mahanadi River, through Mahanadi River Delta, Godavari River, Krishna River, Kaveri River, all draining into where Bay of Bengal. Still now we learned about the rivers flowing from east to west. Now the rivers that drain into Arabian Sea. There we learned rivers all drain into Arabian Sea. Now we are learning about the rivers all draining into Bay of Bengal, means here. Okay, so these all rivers, Deccan rivers, all drain into where? Here, Bay of Bengal. And these rivers constitute 20% of India's total flow. Here, total flow constitute 20%. Rivers that flow from east to west is 10%, and rivers that flow towards Bay of Bengal, all the rivers that drain into this Bay of Bengal, Big Sea, it constitute 20%. So Deccan rivers all flows here into Bay of Bengal. All rivers join and finally they drain to this part, Bay of Bengal. Mahanadi River Delta because Deccan Plateau, it is there in the triangular region we said, isn't it? In India, if we see the Deccan Plateau, Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, you can see Deccan Plateau lies in an area which is triangular in shape. That is called delta actually. And where major rivers divides into small rivers and they flows into the big sea. That is called river delta we say. Okay. So that's about rivers. So there are rivers that are flowing from east to west, which finally drains into Arabian Sea. All rivers will come and join here. And total flow of these rivers constitute 10%. And Western Ghats here. The rivers in Deccan rivers, Deccan Plateau, Deccan rivers, all rivers flows into Bay of Bengal, and this constitute 20%. Okay, so there are rivers flowing from east to west into Arabian Sea, and there are rivers flowing to Bay of Bengal also.